I am in the midst of preparing for my very own solo art show. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, so if you're an artist looking to create your own body of work or to get into a gallery, I'm going to tell you a little bit more behind the scenes on how I landed a solo show and also the process of creating the work itself. So a little bit about my show. It is titled Awaken Your City, and it's based off of my favorite psalm, which says that joy comes in the morning. It's going to be at a local gallery here in Indianapolis, and I really wanted all of the pieces to have a cohesive look to them and to convey a sense of warm light that makes you feel at home. So let's rewind to how I first got into the exhibit. There's a lot of different ways that artists can show their work at galleries. You can either be a member of that gallery, or maybe they ask you to show your work, or maybe there's an application. I did none of the above. I am not a member of this gallery, but I really admire it. I go to all of their First Fridays, and I love to attend any gallery showings that they have there. But what I did is I just found the email of the gallery director, and I just found it on their website, and then I emailed them and was like, hey, can I have a solo show during one of your months? And they were like, sure. And so that's how it came about. But all of that to say is the worst that can happen is they'll either not respond or they'll say no. So it doesn't hurt to reach out to galleries and ask if you can show your work. Now, my exhibit is going to be the month of April of 2026. And it was back in July of 2025 that I found out I was doing this show. So I had about 9 months to prepare for this art show. And I felt like that was plenty of time. I didn't feel rushed at all. However, the procrastinator in me didn't start working on any pieces until January of this year. So I had about 3 months to really prepare. And now that we are here in mid-March, I do have most of my pieces done. I did have some stressful moments in there, so I don't recommend waiting as long as I did. But as a full-time artist, I would say that I took a solid 2 months working on art almost every day. So yeah, I set aside 2 months to really work hard on this exhibit and got it done. I have about a total of 35 pieces, but the title of the show and just the work in general I was gonna paint kind of came to me slowly. So the gallery did tell me that my body of work did somehow need to relate to Indianapolis. So that was a good starter for me to at least have that and then work off of. And it did slowly come to me of what I was going to do for my show. So the next thing I'm going to talk about are the iterations of planning. So if you're an artist planning your exhibit, or it doesn't even have to be for an exhibit, it could be just any collection of work that you're creating, the ideas are going to come in iterations. I didn't come up with the title of my show until January, when I started actually working on the art. For the longest time, I was like, I'm going to title the show Little Joys of Indie, and it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel meaningful enough to me, and so I ended up scrapping that plan. And once I started creating and getting into my color palette, that's kind of when I decided to go for more of the morning theme with Awaken Your City. So when you're planning your work, you don't have to have it all together when you're starting your paintings. I absolutely did not have everything in mind. I think what's most important is to just start. Once you create a few pieces, it'll really start, I think, to come together in your head of what do these pieces have in common? What are you striving for? Something else that really helped me create this plan of what I wanted my body of work to convey is I created a Pinterest board, and I put a lot of things that were inspiring me. So, glimpses of light, a certain color palette. It doesn't have to be what you're about to paint. I don't recommend using Pinterest for reference photos for an exhibit, but more so it was a mood board of the atmosphere of the painting. So I had a Pinterest board full of morning photos, warm colors, and that's really the vibe I was going for with all of my paintings. So having that mood board really helped me move forward in the rest of my paintings, of making sure that every single painting had a piece of warmness to it that would tie all of the paintings together. And with these works of art, I was more so going for the mood rather than perfection in each piece. I wanted them to have this warm atmosphere to it. Now let's talk about the actual work itself. I love to do plein air paintings, which means I love to paint outside, on site. I feel like that always helps with color palette. However, since I knew that my exhibit was in April, I knew I'd be preparing for it during the winter time. And so I was like, I'm not gonna be painting outside in -degree weather. So what I did is in September of 2025, I went around the city grabbing as many reference photos as I could. I wanted to get light reflecting off of the city buildings, some of my favorite spots around the city, how those first glimpses of light look in the city. So we woke up really early to grab those when the sun was rising. And honestly, that helped so much. I was able to have hundreds of photos to pull from and use as reference for paintings. You know, sometimes I change how they look, you know, if I wanted the light in a certain photo with the composition of a different one. You're the artist, you can do whatever you want with your paintings. So I, you know, made them how I wanted. So I'm really thankful that we took that morning to go grab some reference photos. So when January came around and I was like, okay, I need to start really working on my exhibit, what helped was that I mapped out how many paintings I need based on the layout of the room. So the gallery provided me with a map of what walls I would have to hang paintings on, how long they were. And so that really helped me draw out a map of how I wanted to hang paintings. So that's how I decided I needed about 35 pieces. I did want to have a good variety of small pieces to large. Now, I also like to do this for my art fairs. I think as an artist, it's so important to cater to both audiences of having some more affordable options. And so I'm going to have a bunch of small 4x4s that are worth maybe $100 or so, and then I'm going to have some much bigger pieces that go from anywhere from like $300 to $1,000. You know, not everyone can drop like $500 on a painting. Some people will, but I also wanted to cater to people who maybe wanted to buy something but didn't want to spend quite $500. So once I had that plan, I was able to just get working. And like I said, I took about a good 2 months of really working hard on this. And honestly, now that I'm done, I'm just so relieved to have these paintings complete. I am really happy with how they turned out. I really felt pushed as an artist to grow. Something that I struggle with as a watercolor artist is capturing light in paintings. And so I really, really wanted to strive for that in this collection. And I had to learn a lot about layering and how to capture light just right in these watercolor paintings. So that is how this exhibit came about. I really want these pieces to convey what Psalm 30 says, that joy comes in the morning. And morning, for as long as I can remember, has been my favorite time of day. There's just a sense of renewal, and every day we are met with grace and new blessings. So I wanted every piece to really convey that feeling of light breaking into darkness, because ultimately that's what that verse represents, is that darkness is temporary, pain is temporary, and we have a God who meets us every day with mercy and grace. So I'm really thankful for that and hope that anyone who's looking at the art can see the light through that. So if you are an artist looking to create your own collection or get into a gallery, let me know what questions you have in the comments below. I'd love to chat with you there. I'm still in my own learning journey with creating original art collections. I love that every piece in every collection is going to be different for us all. That is the beauty of artists and the work that we do, is that we are all created with a different set of talents, and we're all able to create something equally beautiful in different ways. And if you are in the Indianapolis, Indiana area and want to come to my solo show to see these pieces in person, you can come to the opening reception on Friday, April 3rd at the Harrison Center. I'll be in the City Gallery. Or if you can't make it that day, the collection will be hung up all throughout April. So I'm excited for you guys to see all of the work together. I'm gonna post another little vlog once the art is up, and I'll share what the opening reception night is like. So I'll see you in that video.